Okay, folks, this is my take on Donald Trump. Finally, it's hard to believe. I wouldn't think this day would happen. Donald Trump finally, he's been indicted. Yeah, this is amazing. See what CNN says. This is hours ago, but I'm just fearing watching this now. I'm just, I mean, really surprised at this, actually. I hear what they say.
What are you learning, Karen?
Well, three sources tell me, and my colleague John Miller, that a Manhattan grand jury has indicted former President Donald Trump in connection with the hush money payment scheme. This indictment is under seal, according to sources, and the exact charges are not yet known at this time. But this investigation has been going on for a long time. The decision to move and seek and get an indictment of a former president is the first time that has been done in U.S. history. This could have a significant impact on the presidential campaign. But as I said, we do not know the exact charges yet. We expect those charges to be made public in the coming days. And at some point in the near future, former President Trump will have to come to this courthouse and be arraigned. Well,
The grand jury did meet today, even though they're taking a break next week and for a few weeks thereafter. They did meet today, and presumably they could have voted on this indictment today. Is that right?
yeah, well, according to my colleagues, we have observed prosecutors going into the room where the grand jury meets. They were meeting today. We were told it was not scheduled to hear any testimony on the Trump investigation, but they have been working diligently since January, hearing witness testimony, and it is up to prosecutors to decide if they were going to move forward an indictment and when to ask that grand jury to vote. It appears they went in and asked them to vote today, and that they were in there late this afternoon. This grand jury meets until 5 p.m. It appears as though this vote came down just in the past couple of minutes within the last hour, Wolf.
Very dramatic development indeed. First time, as you say, in American history that a former president of the United States has been formally indicted in a criminal.
Oh, I'm still shocked about this. He's this is very surprising. I would think if you said 2 weeks ago, Mr. Trump said he was gonna get indicted, but told everybody, and it never happened. And he bragged that he was scared. He scared the DA away, threatened the DA, and it did look like they backed down, New York DA. But what was my surprise? Still went to the grand jury, and this happened. Oh.
Criminal investigation. Let's go to our senior legal affairs correspondent, Paula Reed, who's also following these developments. What else are you learning, Paula?
Wolf, I'm actually texting with one of the former president's attorneys right now. As of several minutes ago, they had not been told by prosecutors about this indictment. But we're talking about conduct that occurred about 7 years ago. This has been under investigation for approximately 5 years. But in recent months, this investigation has heated up once again. We've seen a parade of high-profile witnesses, close associates of the former president, going before the grand jury to testify, and there was anticipation that this investigation was finally coming to an end. And as Kara and John just reported, here's the grand jury has voted to indict. Now, the district attorney has been under some pressure. He has been criticized by some for not pursuing this more aggressively. And then when this investigation heated up again, some people questioned whether he should go ahead with this, arguing that this was not one of the more significant investigations the former president would face. But clearly today, they moved forward with the grand jury to get an indictment. As it has been explained to us by the DA's office, what will happen next is that it is expected to be filed under seal, and then they will have to negotiate a self-surrender from the former president. Now, I've been told by his legal team that he is expected to fully cooperate, and the last time we spoke to them, it appeared that the former president absolutely wanted to appear in person and fully participate in the process of being fingerprinted, photographed.
Oh, that's hard to believe. he's gonna get. He's gonna be embarrassed. That's gonna be surprising. It's kind of hard to believe. I don't think Trump would want to be embarrassed like that, but well,
Going before a judge as any other citizen would. The former president appears to believe that this is an advantageous thing for him politically. So it'll be interesting.
yeah, that's what he thinks. He thinks this is gonna help him, and this might help him. Hard to say. This might help him. Now that I think about it, you know what I mean? Cenk was saying, the Young Turks was saying that it's not too clear. It's not it's gonna help him, but this would this be the, put him over the top? Help with his MAGA voters, but the independent voters, see, well, will this really help him? May not, or would this damage him? But this is not gonna, it'll help him with his base, you know what I mean? And the Republicans, the conservative voters. But people, the independent voters, probably won't. Not really. Might do more to solidify his base more.
Interesting to see what the terms of this self-surrender are.
So he would have to actually show up and be fingerprinted and go through that entire process like any normal U.S. citizen
Oh, that's gonna be funny.
would have to go through if they were indicted, right?
Exactly, but there are, of course, extraordinary circumstances here because he has Secret Service protection. There are significant security concerns. You can see right there behind Kara. I mean, this is a very crowded area of downtown Manhattan. That courthouse is a circus on a good day. So there are absolutely security concerns here. But politically, it appears the former president wants to lean into this, wants to appear in person, and really make a thing out of this because he believes that politically, this indictment could help him.
It's truly a major development unfolding in New York right now. Let me get Gloria Borger into this. Gloria, what do you think?
Well, I think this is historic. I think we've never seen a former president be indicted before. And I think that while the circumstances of this case, as we all know, are a bit tawdry, and some, particularly in the legal profession, are saying, look, it's not as important as what might be coming down the pike in terms of the Atlanta grand jury and election interference, and in terms of the docket.
If that ever comes to pass, the Landau thing might be, I don't know. We'll see. If that ever comes to pass. You know what I mean? If that ever, I guess maybe they all take time, but this would take 5 years for this. This shouldn't take 5 years. And you know what I mean? This shouldn't take 5 years to come like this. To get prosecuted. I mean, you know what I mean? And yeah. And then she's saying the government, the CIA, the documents. She was saying
Documents at Mar-a-Lago. This, nonetheless, an indictment is something that Donald Trump has evaded for years and years.
yeah, she's saying that the documents at law, the secret files from the top secret files he took. That's another one. And that's Merrick Garland. He handles that. Whenever he's gonna handle that. Maybe never. By the time these other charges, you know what I mean, Atlanta, who knows, might be president back then. By then. Who knows if he runs and wins. Some saying he's gonna win, but I don't know. hard to tell.
And it would be the first time, and I think it is something that Donald Trump clearly intends to use to his benefit, at least with his base early on in
Yeah,
this
his
election
base.
season. But
His
we're going to
base,
have to
yeah.
watch this play out before our
Ah,
eyes
his base.
as he has to be booked and charged. And I think that's going to be remarkable for the American public to see. People are going to have different interpretations of it. He's going to claim he's the victim, et cetera, et cetera. We need to look at the indictment. We need to look at what it says. But it is a moment in history, Wolf.
It certainly is a very, very dramatic and historic moment indeed. Caitlin Collins has covered Trump for several years now. She's joining us. What else are you learning, Kate?
Well, I mean, the president's legal team had been bracing for this, the former president's legal team. They knew that this was likely something that could happen. He himself, of course, has been bracing for it ever since he said that he believed last Tuesday he was going to potentially be arrested. Obviously, it did not happen at that time. They didn't really have a window into what the timing here was going to look like. They obviously were operating under what we had heard as of yesterday, which was that there was potentially going to be a hiatus for this grand jury. But now, obviously, this has happened. And so the question is what happens next? Because his attorneys have said that he will surrender, that he will fly his plane here to New York to go through the next steps where
Wow.
he's going to be fingerprinted and photographed for the next steps of what an indictment looks like. We don't know how soon that will happen. It could take several days. But they have been planning to a very, delicate or intricate detail, I should note, level of what that is going to look like. Talking about the kind of facial expression he has as he's walking into the courthouse, if it is in front of the cameras.
Oh, it's gonna be a, it's gonna be a, it's gonna be a real spectacle when this happens. Goes in the courthouse. He gets fingerprinted. It's gonna be a real spectacle. Yeah. Wow.
Typically is the case here in Manhattan, because they know that that is going to be an image that is broadcast around the world. They know it's going to be something they believe, as Paula was saying, to his political advantage that he can use as he is running this third campaign for president. But I think we have heard this refrain from some people in recent days that say he actually wants to be indicted. They think it'll be good for him. He does not want him to be indicted, certainly not for this case. This is one of the most personally sensitive situations for him.
Yep, he definitely doesn't want to be indicted. This is kind of embarrassing to him. This is really embarrassing and shameful. This is really shameful. I would be ashamed. Because anybody would be ashamed. You don't want to be like, you know what I mean? Something like this. Especially for, something like this, and you know what I mean? Like campus involves campaign funds, and then forgery. Yeah, I mean, I'm not forgery, but documents, signing documents. Seeing one thing that was a contribution, it was really not a contribution. There's two things with this. These charges, anyways, or what, you know what I mean? It just combines federal, what is federal, and there's state, and yeah. So they're two different charges, kind of. I mean, and Michael Cohen went to jail. Somebody watching another program, the Young Turks. Cohen went to jail. Cohen was the lawyer. He's Trump's former lawyer, fixer, went to jail for 5 years. So, and he probably, well, if he goes to, well, it's gonna, you know what I mean? He was gonna go to trial. Yeah. So you're gonna hear from I guess we're gonna hear from Mr. Cohen again. Yeah, man. But I haven't heard anything what he said yet. Trump's former lawyer who went to jail for him. You know what I mean? But I haven't.
It was ever when he was in the White House, and there was reporting on this on a daily basis on who made these payments and who knew about these payments, because it involved allegations about an affair, and it was something that greatly bothered the First Lady, Melania Trump, at the time. And so it is a very sensitive case, actually, for Trump, and I think the idea that he wanted to be indicted does not match with any of the reporting that I've had. But it is a historic nature that he is now the first U.S. president, former U.S. president, to face criminal charges.
Yeah, it's really a dramatic moment indeed. Kristen Holmes, our national correspondent, is also working her stories, her sources for us. What else are you learning, Kristen?
Yeah, I've just heard from a number of members of Trump's inner circle who are all trying to figure out exactly what's going on. As Paula said, they have not yet heard from their attorneys. They have not gotten the information yet in order to proceed, but we are waiting for a statement on that. And I do want to talk about what Caitlin just mentioned, which is this intricate detail of what it looks like to bring Donald Trump to the courthouse. They are looking at how exactly this is going to play out. There is a huge security component. There is also an optics component. They are talking about, as Caitlin said, facial expressions. They're also talking about, when is he going to make a statement? Who is he going to make that statement to? Where is that going to be? And, last week we reported that in the heat of all of this, that Trump had really run the gamut of emotions, and he had sort of resigned himself to the fact that he was likely to get indicted. However, some of that did shift in recent days. I talked to some people who are close to Trump, who had talked to the former president, who said because of the fact that the grand jury wasn't meeting, because of this reporting that they were hearing another case, because all of that came after Costello's testimony in front of the grand jury, there was some hope there that maybe this meant this wasn't going to happen. And again, as Caitlin said, this is not something that the former president wants. And even though we hear spin all the time from Republicans, from the former president himself, who says this is going to help him politically, which it does appear in some cases it might in a contested primary, there are still a lot of Trump allies and advisors, people who are close to him, who want him to win the nomination and the presidency in 2024, who don't think that this will help him in the long run, or at least are very concerned about what this is going to do with his political career.
Yeah, you can't say that.
It's clear, go ahead.
Well, let me just add that I've just heard that
You can't say either. He might will help him in the primary, exactly, but we don't really know for sure that'll help him in the federal election. You know what I mean? He has to get the independent voters. They might they might even turn off independent voters. But I mean, you might even do that. And this guy is like a criminal, and hey, you want to vote for this guy? Definitely. You know what I mean? But in the primaries, it's not gonna much will help or really help him in the primaries. And DeSantis is this really hurts DeSantis. That's what this does. This hurts DeSantis really bad. This probably kills DeSantis' chances to win the nomination.
that not only was the president not informed as you guys were reporting, but also Michael Cohen's team was not informed of this in advance.
Oh, really?
And so I think everyone's been kind of kept in the dark on both sides of this.
Okay, that's really interesting, folks.
Message it sends is that if there is a
Pronamel repair.
Yeah, that's folks. So that's it. Trump. He's indicted, and that's really surprising to me. I'm very shocked. Oh my God. But will he ever get convicted? That's another question. My feeling is he won't, but I have a gut feeling he won't. But anyways, that's all for now. We will see. Maybe there might be more updates. I'll get more updates on this. Maybe I'll get They're gonna show it when he gets handcuffed and everything, fingerprinted. That's gonna be another video maybe. Anyways, folks, out.